So we're going to talk about Warner Discovery wants Zack Snyder for R-rated DC Black Label films. This is actually a very good idea, if you ask me, because DC Black Label, that's like James Tynion is a comic book creator. It's like prestige lines of comics, larger scale. It's different stories and the stuff that come in just the monthly floppies. They famously
floppies.
That's what they call like
I am lost right now.
Like a floppy disk.
It's a smaller comic. It's less pages. So these are
It's a technical term.
So it says Warner's Discovery is interested in R-rated DC Black Label films from director Zack Snyder. On June 16th, 2021, I revealed that, and this is Mikey Sutton at Geekosity. In June 2021, I revealed that Warner Discovery CEO David Zaslav had discussions to restore the Snyderverse. No, these talks were not with...
Are you stealing your money?
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Money disputes.
There you go. All right. You'll have to super chat her more money if you want to.
Are you going to sue Brett?
She's going to sue me for
super chat money.
yes.
Preventing me from building a forest of a money tree. I don't understand.
That is what I'm doing here today. It says,
were you talking about? Were you in the middle of a podcast that I?
Yes, I was. No, these talks were not with Snyder himself. After all, Zaslav hasn't stepped into the door yet. Rather, these talks were with people that Zaslav had sought consultation with. So the people that he has removed were people that did not want Snyder working on stuff, and the people that he has put in place are people that are amenable to Snyder's work, which is I'm not the biggest fan. Like, ha ha ha.
I'm gonna start again. No
ha,
worries.
ha, ha,
For those
ha,
listening,
ha,
Hannah
ha,
Claire's
ha,
money
ha,
tree has just collapsed.
Ha 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 ha. All right.
Okay, we begin again.
Yes. So it
SOS super chatters. I really need some more leaves. By that I mean dollar bills.
So it says, indeed, sources observe Zaslav is like a sponge. He absorbs ideas and numbers. Simply put, money fuels his interest in Snyder's work. The idea here is basically that the Snyder cut of the Justice League film did very, very well for HBO Max as far as numbers, and that in turn fuels interest to do stuff beyond just the typical DCEU and also outside of what Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves are doing with the Batman film, right?
I think it only makes sense that you have someone money driven in a creative industry.
You have to.
To have like a voice of sense.
Yep. Like, so, because that's like, if you have people that are only driven by creativity, then you get art for artists, not art for consumers, and then you get weird stuff that doesn't necessarily make money.
But some people would say that's like Joker 2019. It's like super artistic, but what does it have to do with the DC world?
Thankfully nothing, because I'm tired of this building on this world thing just for money.
I told them from the beginning, I said if they wanted to differentiate themselves from Marvel, don't build a cinematic universe.
You told them from the beginning?
I said make smaller films.
I loved Joker, but
make smaller films.
I know a lot of people maybe thought this is like irrelevant.
But it was a commercial success, right?
Made $1 billion.
It was, totally.
So to my thesis, you don't have to expand this sequely, metaversey, whatever.
You can blame that success on the media, though, who made it seem like there was going to be like a mass shooting at the premieres for this movie. So I actually give the media half the credit.
It was such a cultural moment.
Yes.
In late 2019.
It was. So I actually don't necessarily buy that the movie would have done $1 billion if the media had just shut up about it and let it happen.
But they played into the success of it so much. The memes were everywhere. Yep. It wasn't like Morbius. It wasn't like AstroTurfed. It wasn't
Morbius
making
was
fun
never
going
to do well, right?
The Morbius memes were always like laughing at and not with the movie.
Yeah, the people were laughing at the media in support of the movie.
But the Joker memes had a quality that were actually organic. People who really enjoyed the movie,
more naturally mimetic and more organic.
Yeah,
to the
so it makes
material.
a little more sense that they would make a sequel of it.
I still don't, but I'm saying I don't think they need to. That's my problem with the corporate, with the corporatization of all these properties is that if you make enough, if something's successful enough, you can't, like with Scream, if it makes enough money, they will just keep making the movies, whether it actually needs it or not. And I don't think that the Joker needs it. It says the previous Warner Brothers regime wanted to boot out the Snyderverse, which includes, that's Toby Emmerich, who was the chairman, and then CEO Ann Sarnoff. Both of them were not fans of Snyder. And then Walter Hamada is still there, but they're saying that he could be gone at any point. So it says Zaslav smashed the walls that blocked the Snyderverse by removing those two people. Zaslav hired Zack Snyder fan Michael DeLuca and his I think they mean to say, and his co-worker Pamela Abdi. Those are the ones who came from MGM over to Warner Discovery when Zaslav took over after the merger. To replace Emmerich, Warner Brothers has previously chosen DeLuca to co-produce Suicide Squad 2 with frequent Snyder collaborator Charles Roven. So I think the idea here is that DeLuca, Abdi, Roven are all people who are amenable to Snyder's work, which means that there could be a road forward to make this movie like a series of movies based on DC Black Label concepts a reality.
What's your feeling on this guy?
About Snyder?
Yeah.
I liked the movies in the context that they're not
Suicide Squad?
Not the first one. I liked the second one, but he wasn't involved. He wasn't.
I never saw the second one.
But Snyder didn't do the Suicide Squad. That was David Ayer. The studio ruined that. No, he did. He did Man of Steel. He did Batman vs Superman. He did Justice League, the second edition that made up for the one that Joss Whedon did. My take is that he is. I would rather see that than formulaic Marvel movies. That's a matter of personal taste for each person. It's whatever you want. I think his storytelling can be slow and overly dramatic. But when Marvel, my concept is basically, since Marvel refuses to take anything seriously, and they're joking during what would normally be life-threatening situations, I kind of appreciate the fact that Snyder takes it overly seriously, and it means that it feels like there's more reverence for the material there.
Suicide Squad sort of leaned into the, like, goofy, wacky, offbeat villains thing.
And that was even, I don't know if necessarily the first version of the film was supposed to be like that. If you watch the original trailer for that, it was nothing like the original Comic-Con trailer for the original 2016 Suicide Squad movie was very dark and done very, very well.
I mean, the things they cut out of Jared Leto's Joker, I think really did a disservice to what he gave to it.
Yeah. And a lot of people hate his performance. I venture
Well, they
no
also
opinion.
hate just the angle of it, of like, let's
being
make Joker into a gangster with grills.
They should have just removed his character from the movie if they weren't going to feature him more heavily.
Right, because then it just seems like randomly thrown in there for no reason. And the stuff they cut out, at least from what I saw, was the darker element to it. Like him torturing people, like
there was far more
included.
of the of his abusive relationship with Harley Quinn.
That too,
in the original, which they removed because they were trying to take Harley Quinn into a more family-friendly, fun direction. She's wacky and crazy.
That was never
and
her character.
I know, but
the one that runs around in like hot pants and fishnet stockings.
She's supposed to be like a female icon now, and there's like they
so
wanted
lame. They made it lame.
Her movie, the Birds of Prey movie is awful and a serious disservice to some of the best characters in the DC lineup. So it says insiders say Zaslav wants Phillips. Oh, they're talking. So it says now Zaslav seeks Joker director Todd Phillips in a non-executive role. We talked about that the other day, talking about how they want to get him in there to work maybe with Snyder, I guess, to develop movies outside of DCEU canon. It could work, but it's not like Phillips knows a lot about comics. He just made a movie and just happened to include a couple of comic book characters in there. I don't know how. I would have to be sold better on that concept of him in that role. Insiders say Zaslav wants Phillips' assistance in a series of R-rated DC Black Label movies. For the most part, there'll be standalone pictures such as Joker. So the idea is like take movies like Joker, make them what would be like a prestige line of films like Black Label. I would have said just called those like Elseworld stories. Elseworlds is DC stuff where it's outside of canon, where you tell like the one where Batman is played by Thomas Wayne rather because of Flashpoint. Thomas Wayne is Batman rather than Bruce Wayne. Those types of stories are fun. So maybe make Black Label their non-canon, less conventional stories. I think there could be room for stuff to be done there that would actually be fairly interesting. And now they're saying also, I have this update that says Joaquin Phoenix Joker sequel is getting as close to getting started. I don't know how accurate that is.
I don't know how I feel about this because I think it was clear to everyone who watched it in good faith that he gave a lot of himself to that performance, and it's not something you can just reliably replicate like on command.
Yeah. So I actually never saw this movie. Does it need a sequel?
It does not need a sequel.
It ended on, there was no like cliffhanger, there was no continued story.
But they made money off of it.
Exactly.
Yes, thank you for conceding my point.
No, what I'm saying is that it's not an either or. It's not a one or the other. It can be.
You can make something good and make tons of money.
Yep.
But then you don't always have to make a sequel.
But you can if you want to. I'm just saying you don't have to.
But you're just saying they shouldn't for this one.
For this one, no, they should not.
Oh.
But Scream is also a different concept than Joker. Those are vastly different types of films.
I've already lost the battle on that one, right? Yeah. They're on number 6. I'm never going to be able to recall this train now, but like let's conduct ourselves differently going forward, right?
So it says the question is, how will the Joker progress into more sequels without the presence of Batman? But then again, Joker had no intention of including Batman. They don't need him. They don't need to make a sequel to this. It just seems like
because this wasn't the Joker.
Nope, not at all. It just seems like a bad idea to me. And then also there was this. It says Marvel wants to steal Jason Momoa from DC.
What are they gonna do? Sneak to his house, put him in a pillow sack,
and run off with him. It's apparently they tried to get him around the time of
a car goes to like his house to pick him up, and he's like, "You're from that studio, right?" And they're like, "He, of course we are." Drives them to the wrong lot.
That would be perfect. Apparently they tried to get him around the time that the Russo brothers were making Captain America: Civil War and Captain America: Winter Soldier. So he was that would have been coming off of like Game of Thrones time, I believe. So his star was building at that point.
Was he wasn't big before Game of Thrones, right?
No. Well, he's in Baywatch. He was literally goes far back as Baywatch. Yeah, he's in the original Baywatch.
How old is this person?
You'd have to look it up. How old is Jason Momoa? He was very young in that. But yeah,
he's like a toddler.
His beard hides so much of his face. You never know.
Yep. He has not. They mentioned in this article that says he hasn't proven himself to be a financial.
He's 42.
He's 42. So
I guess that makes sense to me. He seems like he would be.
Yeah, he would have been like 18 at the time that came out. So he has not proven himself outside of DC to be a financial commodity. Like Game of Thrones was an ensemble.
They won't
series.
make a sequel of him.
His TV shows, what was it? Frontier was the show he was on. I don't think that show did particularly well, but he has a great look. He feels like he's meant for these types of roles. Like if anybody was kind of meant to do a role like this that didn't come from pro wrestling, like John Cena or The Rock or something like that.
We get all of our best stars from.
Yep. Hey,
but we did kind of.
Peacemaker is
he one of the like strangely sexless
sad
boy strong men?
Sad boy
I think he's mentioned in that article. Do you want to tell these people what that was? What that article is, in case they don't know?
I only took a cursory look at it, but John Cena and The Rock
and Jason Momoa. I think
Jason Momoa.
It was an article by Vox that I tried to talk Brett and Mary.
It was like 27 paragraphs long.
It was very academic.
It was a feature piece
type. Yeah,
but it was talking about this sort of emergence of these like. They look physically very alpha men, but they're also sort of like...
They've got a soft side.
They have such a soft side and also sort of like semi like emotional, like sad boy, like
they're kind of the ideal caricature of like what women want. Then
John Cena actually does a very good job of this in the Peacemaker TV show. The Rock, it kind of proves the point. When The Rock made the movie Red Notice with Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds, he's like with Gal Gadot in the movie, and it's the most unbelievable. I don't buy it for like less than a second. Do I buy it? It's actually
they don't seem
weird.
like a couple.
No, like I would buy him and Ryan. I have no idea why, but I'd buy her and Ryan Reynolds before I'd buy him, and it just. He looked weird being intimate with like it looked weird
with anyone.
Like, with like anyone at all. Funny. Like he looks like he's just meant to like stand around and look jacked all the time. That's like that.
I
seems
saw
like
him
his
in
purpose.
some movie about like a kid who likes to explore or something. What? That's very helpful. And he was like The Rock, and he was like the stepdad, and it was like he'd be talking to the kid's mom, and I was like, you guys don't really seem like a couple.
But he was a dad in what was it? The Tooth Fairy?
Yep.
No, not the Tooth Fairy. Maybe it was that one and the one where he was an NFL player. What was that?
Longest Yard. No, that was.
He has played
Gridiron Gang.
No, Longest. I don't know.
Anybody in the chat might know that one.
There was one like mushy gushy movie where he was like doing that with one of the Disney kid stars.
Mm-hmm. He was like a dad and like football and like. Being a dad and
it was I believe it was either Gridiron Gang.
She
or
like
Longest
adopted
Yard.
her.
His best movie to me is still Walking Tall, which is the best movie that he's done. So I would like to see. I think that if they're going to do this, they should
game
move
plan.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. Good, thank you.
And he plays a dad or a like parental figure very effectively. But like when I watched this movie,
single dad. He plays a single dad effectively.
When I was watching this movie where he's like got some young guy who's popular right now, and they're like. Going to explore an island. I don't really Treasure Island. Maybe I have no idea what it's called. But
Jungle Cruise. I don't know.
Maybe. But he seems like a total like I want to be your stepdad. I'm trying to bond, and they'd have scenes with the wife, and it would be like, do you guys even know each other?
Yeah, I know, right?
You look out of place in this relationship. I don't know what that's about.
Oh, it was Journey, the Mysterious Island.
I honestly could not tell you, but I know there's like a guy in it.
To the Mysterious Island.
I think that's it.
Yeah, and then in the game plan, he has a love story with the girl's mom, and it was just like not really working
Yep.
with the story at all.
Doesn't like anytime I see him in that role, it just doesn't work for me. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that has to do with Joaquin Phoenix and Joker.
Well, we moved because I was talking about Jason
we're vamping.
Momoa. I was talking about Jason Momoa, and they want him for Marvel movies.
It's
so
allowed.
We'll see where that goes. All right,
Jason
Podluck.
Momoa, does he play a good love interest?
What have I seen of him in?
I need to see him with Amber Heard. I don't want them to cut her out of this movie.
Yeah, I am kind of curious to see like what was wrong with their chemistry. I stand by the theory that like she's got weird energy and he's like a nice guy who was like, I'm not sure I want to be around this, and that's why it was weird.
I totally think that was the case.
Also, guys, what do you guys think about us reviewing the Rum Diaries?
Yeah,
Yes.
we
Oh
were
my
talking
gosh,
about
that's
it.
so funny. We should.
That
we
would be-
should have done it the day the trial ended.
Yes, that would be very funny to it would be cool if we could like do a watch party with it, but I don't think
Let
I
us
think we'd
know,
get copyrighted
everyone.
for that one. So
What if
I'm
we
just so morbidly curious.
What if
about
we
it now.
live stream ourselves watching the movie, which is off camera?
that I don't know. I mean, maybe we could
even
do
with
that.
the audio?
Yeah.
There has to be a way
Might
that like
be a
we can figure out a way to like maybe we all listen to it on our headphones and then we like talk into the mic, so the mic only gets our voices. That might not be fun for anyone to listen
I
to.
don't think
It
that would
sounds
be very
hilarious
fun.
to me.
But we
Because my instinct is like to make myself shut up during a movie.
yeah.
So I'd have to
that
like
just Buzz?
force myself to ignore that.
I just want to point out that I have not heard from the chat at all about when you show someone a never-ending sequel movie that you're obsessed with. So perhaps the etiquette is that you don't like
Ever.
If you're in a relationship and you love Fast and the Furious, you just choke that down.
What about Twilight though?
I
don't know
Trilogy
if I can suppress
is
that.
trilogy rules.
We
are
have an
different.
exception for
I can't
trilogies, yeah.
suppress my love for Twilight.
But like Star Wars, I feel like that one was supposed to have a bunch, but also it's kind of too many. Maybe that one you can show, maybe you can't. But like Scream 6, you got to keep that private. That's what the chat's lack of interaction is telling me.
Yes.
Thank
you. There's a super chat there.
Sure,
Go ahead.
that one. Okay, JM said, no need for Momoa. All you need is Morb.
Okay, so Morbin time is
So
back.
lame.
It's Morbin time is coming
What
back.
is Morb?
Morbius, of course.
So what they're saying is that they
Yeah.
want us to re-release Morbius back in theaters again.
What? Which one is Morbius?
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, it actually makes a bunch of money. That'd be really funny. Like everyone goes and sees it. Like just
Nothing
to
is
meme.
real anymore.
Nope, it's all fake. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.